actually getting up and moving a little bit here with the Yukon. First off, what I want to mention is this 6.2 V8 super quiet. Like, I think this really makes sense. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Cadillac here in Provo, Utah, for giving me some time with this Yukon. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below, so you guys can check out what they have currently and then also what they have in transit as well. If you have any questions whatsoever, just call in and ask for Craig, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. With that being said, let's jump into the review. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of the Denali Ultimate. First off, I love the white paint on this. Sorry if the camera freaks out a little bit, but you guys can see we've got this beautiful metallic flake that just looks absolutely fantastic. And just look how aggressive that hood is. We've got GMC's signature C-shaped LED lights with the LED headlights as well. And when I say C-shaped LED lights, I'm talking about the daytime running lights. By the way, they don't actually flicker in real life. That's just because of the frame rate of the camera. And then you guys can see the fog lights down below, parking sensors here on the front end. And then just look at the GMC logo here front and center. I love the coloration on it. You got a little bit of chrome trim to kind of add some pizzazz. And then yeah, the whole grille itself is absolutely massive. And yeah, you can tell when you look at this thing, it means business. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 275/50/22 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheel itself, it's actually really cool. You've got metallic gray there in the center, and then it's got like the silver, and then you have the chrome as well. Lots happening. Now this does have the magnetic ride control and air suspension, so you guys can well at least see the canister for the air suspension. And then we have our normal Yukon like fender molding right there. GMC logo, Denali badge down below. Notice the chrome accenting on the door handles and then around the windows. And then we do have the little like roof rack there at the top. And here's your side view. So here is our key fob. We have the GMC logo there on the back. We have our unlock or lock function, remote start, the opening there for the tailgate, and then the opening for just the window, I should say actually the hatch. Anyways, payload capacity, 1,311 pounds, towing capacity 8,000 pounds. Apparently I reviewed too many trucks because I called the hatch the tailgate, but popping in, we have this box of goodies, which I guess it's partially open, so I guess we can, well, not much to see there. But anyways, notice with the second row, we can throw the seats down automatically. Third row, you can lower them automatically, and I guess they'll get stuck. But you can also raise them automatically when you see that they get stuck, so that you can just pull them back into place. And the headrest, you do have to lift up yourself. And then underneath here, we got some more storage. And then I love the little metallic plaques on either side. And yeah, that's pretty much everything at the rear. By the way, this is the regular Yukon. This is not a Yukon XL. So if you got the XL, you would get more space in the back if that's what you need. And you can get the Denali Ultimate with the XL if you guys are wondering. And boom. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you guys can see here with the taillights, you've got these C-shaped taillights here in the back. GMC logo there in the center with the camera down below. Yukon and then Denali there on the other side. Parking sensors here at the bottom. And then I love that it still has the cool sporty Yukon exhaust tips, even though this is like full-on luxury car, as you guys will see with the interior. And then that bezel covers the receiver hitch. And there's the rear. Now here is the door panel in the rear, and this is where things get really cool. So beautiful leather trim here at the top, and then you guys can see the wood trim down below, and then the silver trim here, and then notice with the door handle, same coloration. And then we have the cool cross stitching design with more leather trim. And then look at the speaker here for the Bose sound system. Just looks absolutely fantastic. And boom, here are these seats. This is the fun part. So look at the design here at the top of the seat, and then perforated all down the center. And then you guys can see here with your adjustments on the seat, and then Denali plaque. Again, we got these side steps which make getting in and out really easy. And you guys can see legroom and headroom is also fantastic. And notice here with a little storage pocket, and again, you've got more cool design throughout. And actually, I'll just turn it on quickly so you guys can see the screens and then the climate control stuff. Okay, so sorry about the glare, but you guys can see the screen is now on, and I actually have both screens on so you can see. But what's pretty cool is you can actually sync the screens so they show the same exact thing, which is obviously cool for kids. And then notice for like the headphones, you can do headphones or switch to speaker, which is definitely fun. But yeah, you've got like Hulu, YouTube Kids as well, which is really important. But yeah, when you're all done, you can just press the off button and then I'll turn it off. And I think you can just tap it to turn it back on if you're in the back. I guess not. I guess you'll have to ask the front to turn it back on. Anyways, down here, you guys can see with the climate controls, we have our zone for the rear. We do have heated seats here in the back, and then we got some USB ports as well. And I love how just like nice everything is here in the rear. But I'm gonna move this armrest, and actually we can leave that one down. And I'm gonna kind of scuttle here on into the rear. Woo. So here's legroom. And this is one of the big benefits of vehicles like the Yukon is you can actually fit adults in the back. And notice you actually get some nice like leather padding here on the armrest area, USB. And by the way, these rear seats, just as nice as the rest of the Yukon with the leather and with the design, which is really cool. Anyways, let's head to the front. Now going over the front door panel, it's identical to the rear, so really nice leather trim all around with the wood trim right there and then the silver trim as well. And then again, the cross-stitching design on the armrest. And by the way, very nice padding. All of our window controls, and again, you've got your mirror adjustments. You can power fold in the mirrors if you want. Memory seats, and then blind spot mounting for the mirrors. Now, again, with the Bose sound system, this is the Performance series. Now, I wouldn't say this is quite as good as the AKG sound system that's in the Escalade, which is obviously this vehicle's sibling vehicle, but this is a really good sound system. I don't think you'd have any complaints about it, like top notch, seriously. Denali logo, and look at that. We got speakers in the headrest, both headrests if you guys are wondering. So it kind of makes the front seat look interesting to say the least, but I mean, you got padding where you need padding and you got speaker where you need speaker. Notice Ultimate right there, which is pretty cool. And again, you got the really cool design. Perforated leather in the center portion. And then we have all of our adjustments here. By the way, that little button, that's for the massaging seat function. And then here's a quick look at the pedal layout. We've got the hood latch release. And then you get your light control here. We've got our drive mode select. That's for the air suspension. And then our drive line select. This does have a 2-speed transfer case. And then we've got our parking brake right here. And then this is for the camera system, stability control, hill descent, parking sensors, auto stop start, and then also for the parking sensor system. We'll go over in a minute. And then we've got the lane departure. This is for the heads-up display. Trailer brake controls already integrated. And then we have the adjustment for the steering wheel and then more nice leather trim. Then even on the dash, it's got the cool cowhide texture. But let's pop in. So here's our steering wheel for the Denali Ultimate. Really nice leather trim all around with the Denali logo front and center. And I like the design here on the bottom of the steering wheel. It's very unique. We've got black stitching to match with the rest of the steering wheel. And then there are radio controls on the back of the steering wheel, by the way. And then we have our regular practical controls for the center screen. And then we've got like our voice command controls, cruise control, heated steering wheel button. And then you guys can see here with the turn signal windshield wiper stock. And yes, this was originally supposed to come with Super Cruise, but obviously that's been delayed with some products with GM. And so in the future, it'll probably have it. But anyways, there's a steering wheel. So here is the center gauge cluster. You guys can see full digital gauge cluster, and we can scroll through different menus here in the center. So like got the navigation, for example, and then just general like vehicle information, pretty standard stuff. Now we do have some different modes with the air suspension and the drive mode. So if I press the air suspension, then I can adjust it through different height settings. So we got entry, exit, normal, and then increased ground clearance, and then we have maximum ground clearance. Now you do have to have it in 4-wheel low to access the maximum ground clearance, but it's pretty cool that you have those different modes that you can adjust automatically rather than having to like put it into a different drive mode to have the car do it for you, which I don't know, I just think it's nice. Anyways, with the drive modes, we've got a few. So we have a sport, we've got an off-road, and then we have a tow haul mode, and the air suspension will adjust, and also the magnetic ride control will adjust depending on the drive mode that you go into, and you got cool animations with it, but there's the center. So here's our infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Now this has the full 360 camera system that you can get in GM's products, and you guys can see resolution is pretty solid except for the wheel shot for the rear. Definitely, you can tell it's like trying to zoom in and all that stuff, but other than that, like really good camera system. You guys know this is my favorite camera system in a truck or an SUV. So I think fantastic work with that. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment screen, you can see response time. Fantastic. We've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with it. Now you guys might be wondering on the rear media, so you got to just press the rear media tab. And then we got to accept all this stuff here. So we'll just say allow while using app, and then we'll say turn on. And this is where we can turn on the screens if we want. And then we can also share the screen too, so that the screens are doing the same thing. So yeah, you know, pretty cool from a feature perspective with that. And there's the screen, or infotainment system rather. So we have our transmission selector here, a bunch of like buttons and pull tabs. If you guys have seen my other GM reviews, then you kind of know what this is all about. We've got, again, that really nice like cowhide texture on the leather for the dash. So here's kind of sort of a okay look at it. And then wood trim down below. Again, love the graining on it. And then you can see the leather trim across the rest of the dash. And then look at this trim here, matches what you have on the steering wheel. Analog controls for the radio, climate system, heated cooled seats for the front. Again, massaging for the front seats, which is pretty cool. And then with this tab, you just push it, and then it like pops the wood trim over. Now, this obviously has the wireless phone charging pad and then some USB ports. And then we got our little cup holder, which is the key holder for today, I suppose. Again, more wood trim. And then here's the center console. Look how nice that is. And you guys can see the storage space. Inside, it's cool, it still has the phone holder. And we got more, again, really nice leather trim here on the side. And then got some storage space right there. And pretty normal glove box there. Last but not least, we have one of my favorite features in a car, and that is the camera mirror. Nice bit of safety tech. And then we do have a full panoramic sunroof here at the top. You got the controls for the sunroof like on the sides here, and then in the center. And then this is like for the rear hatch, and then for the seats. Universal garage door openers, and there you go. Here's our window sticker for this Denali Ultimate. You guys can see with the warranty, we got a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, 5-year, 60,000 mile on the powertrain. And notice that pretty much everything you guys saw in today's video, including our 18 speaker Bose Performance Series sound system, is all standard equipment. Now I've got a base price of $92,350. There are some options, including that beautiful white paint, which is $1,095. We also have our OnStar charge, the roof rails. But again, pretty much everything else is standard equipment. So total MSRP there, $96,700. Let's take this out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and hopefully you guys can now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors which do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let's set off. So, setting off in the Denali Ultimate. And by the way, this is my first video with the Provo Cadillac GMC Buick here. So I don't have a driving route picked out quite yet. So bear with me, we are probably going to maybe get like a little bit lost. But yeah, you know what? We'll figure it out. Let's just focus on how this Yukon drives. So first off, seat comfort is absolutely fantastic. These leather seats are just so comfortable. And again, that massaging seat function is definitely welcome. Actually, we'll make a right turn here. I think that'll make a little more sense. But yeah, the massaging seat function is just fantastic. Gotta love the 6.2 V8, tried and true. Sounds great. It has tons of solid torque. Okay, so actually getting up and moving a little bit here with the Yukon. First off, what I want to mention is this 6.2 V8, super quiet. Like, I think this really makes sense for this particular vehicle because it's quiet, it's got decent power. Now, I don't think you can get the Duramax with the Denali Ultimate, but if you could, that would be a pretty cool setup, having the diesel with this. But again, I think the 6.2 V8, again, being their most premium engine, makes sense because this is the most premium version of the Yukon. But we'll kind of get on it a little bit here. I guess I shouldn't have turned that way because now like I've run out of okay, so I guess we'll turn here again. We're figuring out a driving route. Ride quality is really good with the air suspension plus the magnetic ride control. And I always want to say Magna Ride, but that's obviously Ford's system. but it's like MagneRide's like, I don't know, easier to say than magnetic ride control, but it leads to a really like comfortable driving experience. Like seriously, this thing is so smooth, it's amazing. Full on luxury car ride. And one thing I will say is that with that system, this rides like identically to the Escalade. Like there's no like perceivable difference between them, which is great. And again, sorry this test drive is mixed up and all over the place, but you know what, we're making do with what we have. I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out in the in the near future for a driving route, but this will do for now. Anyways, I've driven a bunch of Escalades, or not Escalades, Yukon, well, Escalades too, and Yukons. The reason I said Escalade though is this feels like it feels like the Escalade. Like, yeah, it doesn't have like the mega screen situation, and this interior is definitely more like Western themed because of like the cowhide texture on the leather there on the dash, and then like the brown leather and the cross stitching and all that kind of stuff. But like this feels as luxurious as the Escalade. Apparently I can't talk today, but what I'm trying to say is you're basically getting the Escalade like experience, but at a much lower price point with this new Denali Ultimate. Like, I'm super impressed with this. This is like so nice. And so yeah, if you want the baddest version of the new Yukon, this Denali Ultimate definitely, I mean, look at this thing, definitely gives that to you. And it, with again the standard air suspension and the magnetic ride control, this rides amazingly smooth. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Yukon Denali Ultimate. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Cadillac here in Provo, Utah for giving me some time with this Denali Ultimate. If you're in the market for a new GMC Cadillac or Buick, definitely reach out to them. Ask for Craig if you have any questions whatsoever. I'll see you.